In 1966, some of us, well, most of us, remember that Robert F. Kennedy gave a speech and he said, you know, there's an old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. Well, that's a myth, not the interesting times thing, but that it's a Chinese curse. It never was. But we do live in interesting times. And what we do with it is something that happens when we use our choices, when we take a look at things. Nobody can argue that the times are tough, that they're not what we want. We're kind of locked down. We don't go out as much as we would normally go. We aren't as busy as we've been. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes taking the time to not be busy can be a blessing, not a curse. Taking the time to take a look at what's going on in life, in our relationships, taking time to decide what we want to do, play an instrument, read a book, do a hobby that we haven't done in ages. That's kind of the silver lining of this whole thing. Could also be time to offer some prayers. You know, it's an interesting time, it's a curious time, it's, for some people, a dangerous time. So offering prayers for others and thinking about what's going on in life, this is a good time for it. It's Lent after all. So take the time to do that. But also, it's time for family. Take the time to be with them. Maybe board games, maybe that's not your thing, maybe just hanging around over coffee and dessert and sharing stories and talking about what we never have time to talk about is really a gift. Maybe that's a real possibility. Don't be bored. There's always, as my mother would say, there's always something to clean. Go clean. But the other thing about boredom, really, it's got a marvelous antidote. The antidote for boredom is curiosity. Go Google something. Learn something you never learned before. Go find out something that you just have just the tiniest bit of interest in. You don't have to spend the time in boredom or in just tyranny of not knowing what to do. Find out what you want to do. We're people who are always so busy that there's no time for me. There's no time for what I want to do. Sometimes it might just be to sit and just be. And that's marvelous. It's a gift. So I suggest in these times we be Christian. I suggest we pick up that telephone or use our instant messaging and reach out to somebody we haven't talked to or touched in ages. Take the time to do that. Take the time also to see to it that you care for yourself, that you've got what you need. No hoarding. I promise there's enough toilet paper to go around. If there isn't, come see me, I'll loan you some. I started with the idea of that old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. It's not a curse, it's just a myth. It's not true. Stay away from myths and untruths. Don't let yourself get all the news that you need from any news outlet that's anything other than the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, or the World Health Organization, the WHO. Anything else is probably tinted with politics in this day and age, and you don't need that. If watching the news is something that bothers you, stop watching the news. Take the time to go do something else. In the meantime, we'll be here praying. If you need me, call me at the rectory, 400-9670, and I'll do what I can to help. God bless.